Howdy folks, and welcome to another episode of Vermont State University here on YouTube. And folks, everyone's favorite episode, it is the off-season. We are going to go through all stages of the off-season and set up season number 2 here in the series today. So get ready, get your popcorn, get your snacks, your drinks. Everyone's favorite time of the year. Full transparency. We got fired. However, there is a nice workaround in this, so we are still chilling. So let's meet some new coaches. So basically, finished at 112, we got fired. But you're able to basically go in and recreate the coach. So I recreated Coach Holmes. So basically, the only thing that sucks is we lose the locksmith, but now we got it back. So kind of we're actually in the same space as we had before. So that's nice. Tyson Summers is our new defensive coordinator, which is nice. We are going to do roads closed, try to help the running game, and we are going to help the running game here as well. Corey Roberts is our offensive coordinator. So let us just get right into it. We are going to start with the players leaving screen now. We're not going to have many players leaving, but we can go look around the MAC, see who's gone, see who we don't have to deal with anymore. And then after that, it's the NFL draft. Of a special presentation, the NFL draft coming up right after. So let us see. We go over here to players leaving. Looks like Darren Washington's going to transfer to Bowling Green, which is fun. Preston Williams is graduating. Let's check out the NCAA. How about that? All right, so here are the players leaving. Here are the projected top picks. We're not going to spend too much time here. It says we're low in this season. We haven't really got to see a lot of players, but Jarvis Thornburg. Some quarterbacks going high from MAC teams that we've seen. And we'll just go to the quarterbacks. So Thornburg, David McLaughlin, Brian Pickens, those are guys we saw. We didn't really see McLaughlin, we did play them. But we will kind of look at some notable players in the NFL draft. So let's just simulate to see who's going where and who's transferring and all that fun stuff. Again, we mentioned the quarterbacks, Western Michigan guys, Miami University, and Ohio. And this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 first-round quarterbacks projected. That is kind of crazy. Just 2 running backs expected to go in the first 2 rounds. Scott Walker has a number 5 tag on him, and Dan Welsh looks like he's projected to go 33rd in the draft. Eric Buckley, the Heisman winner, looks like he is selected. He's projected to be selected 31st pick of the 3rd round. Nathan Jones, Ball State guy, here as the last draftable running back according to scouts. Wide receiver, another deep position, 5 first rounders, and the starts with J.R. Church, T.J. Nelson, basically the 1A, 1B of the class. Vince Dodson, Ohio guy, he looks like he's going to go in the 2nd round. Ronald Hill, a guy that we saw torch Vermont State. Looks like he's going to be one of the first picks in the 7th round, according to experts. Big tight end class. A lot of first-round guys, including Marcus Shelby from Alabama, the top dog. And then a few guys in that 2nd round, including Brent Rivera of Notre Dame and Paul Berry of Colorado. Here's how the left tackles stack out. Not very deep in guard, but could get some good players in day 3 of the draft. Center looks like there's a clear number 1 favorite, John Greer. Other than that, mostly a couple day 2, but mostly day 3 guys. Right guard, same as left guard. Not too stacked up top, but definitely some good depth down low. Right tackle, very thin. Not a good draft if you want a tackle on that right side. Left end is not very thin up top, and as we go down the board, it doesn't look like it gets any deeper. It looks like a very thin defensive end group on the left side. On the right side, however, kind of the same story. No projected first rounders on the ends of the defensive line. Up the middle, Bubba Myrick. He's the only first-round guy. Other than that, experts are saying wait until day 3 to take your guy up the middle. Outside linebacker John Ewing getting first-round buzz up to the top 5, as we mentioned before. After that, again, another steep decline. Miami University's Jonathan Stevenson looks like he's going to go in the 6th round, something to keep an eye on. Not a good year to need a linebacker. Middle linebacker especially is very thin. Only 4 draftable players according to experts. On that right side, however, you got a good mix of off-ball and pass rushers on that outside. And here are some of the top ones. Curtis Lewis, Adam Tucker, and Peter Lambert are your first rounders. D. Harris looks like he could go in the 2nd. Cornerback, looks like a few could go day 1, but a good amount going day 2. Miami University's Anthony Bray as a cornerback, 23 years old. The 4th round, 24th pick is where he's selected according to this mock draft. Safety class is hit or miss, it seems, as we have no one going in the 1st round on the free safety side of things. One guy going in the 1st round on the strong safety side of things. Let's look to see if there's anyone notable here. Jared Cook, that 1st rounder, and Rondell Cunningham goes 3-1 according to this projection. One 1st round kicker, we'll see if that sticks, and Kenneth Davis. Matt Thomas from Alabama looks like he could be drafted as a kicker as well. Punter, they have a 2nd round grade on Mark Morton, so we'll see if that sticks as well. Zach Morrow, Ray Washington, and Brian Carter could be picks later on to kind of have a special teamer on a nice contract. Let's hop into the draft, see if any of these guys get picked. Let's see. And here we are in the NFL draft. The first pick goes to the New York Jets. First pick is John Ewing, outside linebacker. We'll go through the top 10, and then we'll find some interesting players that we've written down. Next pick for the Arizona Cardinals is Chris Wallace, quarterback out of Western Michigan. See how far it takes David McLaughlin, the actual starter. This is a Cardell Jones situation, but all those attributes and raw physical talent looks like Chris Wallace is desirable to go number 2. Next pick by the Houston Texans, David Nash, quarterback out of South Carolina, I believe. Here we go, St. Louis Rams on the clock. And it's Will Todd, the perceived number 1 overall pick. He goes number 4. 3 quarterbacks and an outside linebacker. Marcus Shelby, tight end out of Alabama, goes to Tampa Bay. Scott Walker, first running back off the board, goes to Jacksonville at 6. TJ Nelson, wide receiver at number 7. Jarvis Thornburg, quarterback out of Miami that led the Red Hawks to the national championship game, is going to be an Eagle. Kenneth Davis, the kicker, goes number 9. Absolutely unexpected turn of events as a kicker goes number 9 to Carolina. Dominic Hester, quarterback from Missouri, goes number 10. Now from here on out, we will just be highlighting some MAC players. Brian Pickens doesn't wait long. He goes to Miami. So we finished with the NFL draft. Let's look at some notables. First up, number 7 overall pick TJ Nelson out of Louisville. He goes to Chicago. He's rated as a 73 overall. Buccaneers take tight end Marcus Shelby. Looks like a little bit of reach. It's only 69 overall. Arizona Cardinals swung big, and Chris Wallace comes in at 75 overall out of the gate. Looks like a very good pick. Also later on, they get Jonathan Stevenson in the 5th round, pick number 2, 67 overall. Chiefs get Joe Adams, left tackle, USC, 79 overall. They got him at the 14th pick. Looks like the best player in the draft so far. Eric Buckley, the Heisman winner, goes to Dallas, 68 overall in the 4th round. Alex Starks, the middle linebacker out of Akron, who wasn't projected to get drafted, gets drafted by Dallas here in the 7th round, pick 20. Brian Pickens from the Dolphins, 73 overall. Looks like one of the better quarterback prospects in this draft. Eagles went Jarvis Thornburg at 8, and he gets a 72 overall rating out of Jump Street. Bubba Myrick, a 50 overall in that 1st round by the Falcons. Definitely a reach, and a player who was looked upon as one of the better defensive line prospects in this draft. The only one rated with a 1st round grade, gets a 50 overall. Giants got Dominic Hester, quarterback out of Missouri, in that 1st round. He looks like the top rated guy so far we've seen. UAB running back Scott Walker, 76, went to the Jags as the 6th pick. Anthony Bray, a nice 69 overall rating, 5th round pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Number one overall pick, John Ewing, 78 overall, so a very good get. Jets looked at the roster, saw all those quarterbacks, but decided that John Ewing was their man. He has a nice 78 overall rating to start. So 82 overall for the kicker, and they went punter with their next picks. That is a questionable decision. I mean, the players end up being good, but you waste basically the first 2 picks on kickers. Or after selecting a punter, Vince Dotson from Ohio, he goes to Carolina, 66 overall. Will Todd didn't go number 1 overall, but probably should have. 80 overall here for the Rams. They look like they have the quarterback of their future. Darrell Banks, another linebacker from Toledo, who's projected undrafted, goes actually a pick before his teammate Alex Starks at 7th round, 19th overall to the Seahawks. David Nash, quarterback, South Carolina, nice 76 overall rated for Houston. David McLaughlin fell all the way to the 22nd pick, and the Tennessee Titans struck, and they get a 78 overall quarterback, actually rated better than Chris Wallace, and is surprised that McLaughlin went way later than Chris Wallace did. So that'll do it here for the NFL Draft, and we'll pick it up back with the rest of the offseason right now. Here's the transfer requests, and we did see Darren Washington leave the program, but now we have Sam Pope coming into the program, a wide receiver from Buffalo, so we're taking him from the conference, so he will sit out a year, and we'll see him next year, and that's awesome. So Sam Pope, welcome to the team. So here we are in the off-season recruiting. We're just going after Terrence Harris, so he's going to get all 10,000. Pretty easy here. Again, let's look at our recruiting class. Vincent Collier, Marshall Brown, Andy Harris. They'll be moved to halfback and tight end. Wide receivers, we have Andy Tolbert, Tony Lowe, and Calvin Jackson, as well as the transfer we just got, Sam Pope. 5 tackles, Rodney Young, Sidney Handy, Marcus Bryant, Kevin Fleming, Joey Jenkins. Terrence Harris, we're going to put all 10,000 in. Tommy Osborne, we're going to let walk. Lance Kelly and Jonathan Woods are our centers. Luke Robinson, Thomas Holt, our defensive ends. Dan Mosley we have to be up the middle. Jacob Brooks, Paul Sherman in the linebacker core, as well as Jared Rhodes and Wesley Sledge. Nick Lindsay, Jeremy Stevens, Derek Rogers, and Larry Robinson in our cornerback group. And that's going to be it. No kickers, unfortunately. So our punter, Chase Alexander, is going to have to do a bunch of the heavy lifting next year. So let's see if we get Terrence Harris or not. So unfortunately, we do not get Terrence Harris. So it looks like Temple would have had to put 10,000, almost 20,000 points. I don't think you're actually able to do so. He just was going to Temple. That's what it is. It is what it is. Tommy Osborne went to Kansas. Donald Britt went to Eastern Michigan, so we'll see him. Kenny Woods, we didn't put a scholarship on him. Probably hindsight's 2020, but we were going all in on Terrence Harris. I didn't think it was actually physically possible for us to lose it, but here it is. Now let's also check out the top 10 recruits and where they're going. Maybe follow them a little bit. Also, look at where we rank as a whole recruiting class. So here's our top 10 in the country. Joe Lawson, Alabama. Curtis Webb, Texas. Kevin Kelly, Minnesota. Charles Washington, the U, University of Miami. Barrett Ingle going to California. Jake Johnson to A&M. Eric Smith to Utah. That's big, especially from being Tennessee. Almost went to mid-Tennessee. Marcus Gore to Auburn. Brandon Gunn to Stanford. And Keith Mills to Texas. So 2 top 10 players go to Texas. Other than that, pretty run-of-the-mill. Utah getting a guy. Cal getting a guy. Minnesota getting a guy. But it's going to be fun to see these guys develop, and they might be faces of this dynasty. And here we are going to top classes. We are 126. We do have 24 players, which has to be, we're the one of 4 teams to get 24 or more players. But again, all 1 stars or 2 stars, probably going to be recruiting the same exact way after going 0-12 this first year. But get a couple wins, maybe start pushing at the 3 stars or more 2 stars, but we should see. But 1 stars from here on out, it looks like for right now. Penn State 10 4 stars. They had 4th in the country, and San Jose State. So let's look at somewhere the MAC teams finished as well. Western Michigan and Miami finished 33 and 34, a couple 4 stars for them apiece. Look at some guys, McBride, McCarthy, and Dunbar are their 4 stars, and McQueen, Malloy, and White are Ohio's 4 stars. Northern Illinois makes the top 75, 1 4-star recruit. That's Wilson. So that's it. So those are the top 3 MAC teams, 2 in the high 30s and 1 here at 75, Northern Illinois. Here we are at position changes, and this is where we're going to make some magic, and we also see kind of how this roster is going to look like. Warren and Dudley James still going to be all 3 of our quarterbacks. We're definitely trying to look to get a new quarterback in the future. Halfbacks, Carter, Hassan Everett, Joey Browning. This little shows the true overalls of these guys. So with 82 speed, I'm taking Vincent Collier. He's going to go to halfback. He's going to be a 68 overall. And he's 52 awareness there. And let me just keep it to track of this awareness so I can boost it back up. I think that's kind of dumb how sometimes the awareness goes down. Marshall Brown, look at his skills. Looks like 73 speed. I don't think he's going to be anything more. We're going to put him at tight end. So we'll take Marshall Brown, move him over to tight end. He'll be a 57 overall tight end. Andy Harris, he has 80 speed, but again, it looks like he might be a tight end type of guy. 61 strength, decent blocking, not much in the catching. Well, let's see. He goes to a 57 overall halfback, 57 overall tight end. So we'll put him in the tight end room. I think Collier's going to get most of these carries. So here is the wide receiver room. We see Andy Tolbert actually goes up +9 overall, which is fantastic. Sam Pope has to wait a year. Tony Lowe is 61 and Calvin Jackson a 53. Those guys are our top guys. Kalon Foster, Kamani McDonald. Now with these guys being better, you might actually move him over to halfback, and it looks like we will. So we just get his awareness. It's at 40, so it can't get any worse. He's going to be a 56 overall halfback and our number 2 in there. And look at the rest. No one really is enough to kind of move around. So that's going to be our wide receiver room to begin. Tight end, already Harris and Brown are better than Brown and Brown. Here's where we're going to mix it up to see who's going to go to guard, who's going to stay at tackle, and where everything's going to be. So let me actually just move these guys around. Then we'll just go straight up and see what our offensive line is looking like. All right, so here's what our line is going to look like this year. Rodney Young will start as one bookend. Joey Jenkins will back him up. Marcus Bryant moves over to guard. Lance Kelly stay at center. Jonathan Woods will kick over to right guard, and Sidney Handy and Kevin Fleming will be the tackles. One of these guys probably move over to the left side once those two left tackles, who are both juniors, I think, JUCO juniors, move. So that's what it's going to be. Luke Robinson would be a left end. He ends up being a +7. Let's look at his moves. That's pretty good. And on the other end, Thomas Holt ends up being a 54. Still use DeRon Clark in some packages. Still use Rich Walski. So these guys will get on the field, definitely for sure. Dan Mosins being a 72 up the middle. Justin Davis, an outside linebacker. Let me move the linebackers around. We'll come right back. All right, we're going to move over Jared Rhodes to outside linebacker here. Some pass rush potential with him. Wesley Sledge will be up the middle with that 80 speed. And Sherman and Brooks, I'm sure, will get on the field. They'll stay at right outside linebacker. We're going to use everybody, move them all around. So all these guys are definitely going to get some play. Cornerback room, we revamped it, the entirety of it. Nick Lindsay, Jeremy Stevens, Derek Rogers, Larry Robinson, all looking to be top dogs there. Actually, let me see. With some of these speed ratings, I could have moved some guys over to safety, especially guys like Isaiah Concepcion potentially. Anthony Walker probably going to get cut with 79 speed. Let me look over here. Free safety, we have Drew Wade is going to be there at safety. But strong safety, we could probably get a little faster. I take David James. Move him over to strong safety. That's a 45 overall. Let me do that just to add some competition. James goes over here. He's a 52. So after I move David James over, this is what the strong safety room looks like. McKinley's still higher rated, but we could get some speed on the field. No kicker, Chase Alexander, punter. That's going to do it for position changes. Now on to who's getting better. All right, we'll just quickly go through it. +6 for Jadon Warren. Now, if you look at his passing ratings, it goes up to 54.65. Halfbacks, Kamon McDonald got a little bit better, which is nice. 91 speed, which is good. Sam Pope, we're not going to see him until next year. He's a 67. Foster, Hill, Wiley, Franklin, all improving just a little bit. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability, we don't have that tool that actually guys can go down in overall, which I think would be cool. But that's just what we got. Jackson Brown at 52. Gooden gets a little bit better. Everyone's going to get a little bit better. We'll just scroll through, highlight anyone who didn't have any upgrade overall-wise. Preston Bishop, that's no good for him. +5 for Rich Walski, which is nice. +5 on the defensive tackle side of things a couple times. Not really a lot of improvement for our middle linebacker and core. That's not too great, but our outside backers and Lawson and Ulysses Jackson go up. +6 for Anthony Walker. Might have heard us saying that we might give him cut considerations, depending what the roster looks like. Drew Wade up 3. Jason McKinley up 4 with David James as well. And punter Chase Alexander goes up +4. So we're going to get to the cut phase. One cut. It's going to be Joey Browning. Just not enough room for him on the roster. So he's going to be one guy. Hassan Everett did well in the passing game, and Alan Carter was a starter last year. It's going to be heavily Kamani McDonald and Vincent Collier. Preston Bishop will go, did not improve at all, and we have some depth on the offensive line finally. The last guy that will go will be Chris Ross. Didn't see him play at all. I just think we have so many defensive linemen that will get more chances than him. Already a junior, so he's going to be going anyway, so we'll get rid of him, and that's going to be all 3 of our cuts. So here we are in the preseason of 2024. Let's look at our schedule. Let's look at our red shirts. Then after that, we're going to get out of here. In the next episode, in the beginning of number 2, we'll look at our recruiting board, and we'll look at our depth chart and kind of look at the beginning of the season. But let's end off with looking at our schedule and any redshirt players. Here is our game schedule for this upcoming year. We're going to start off against Oklahoma State, who we played last year, got our first touchdown of the series against last year, and they're becoming to Vermont this time to complete the home and home. We're going to be taking on Troy at home as well as week 3. And here is the first iteration of a long-term rivalry we're going to set with Boston College. The Battle of the Birds. First one we're going to start at Chestnut Hill away. Then we're going to take on Indiana bye week. And then here's our conference schedule this year. Buffalo, Eastern Michigan, Northern Illinois, Ohio, Ball State, Central Michigan, Akron, and Western Michigan at the end. Let's go check and see if we're going to redshirt anybody. And we'll meet you back there in a second. First redshirt's going to be Brandon Brown. I think we have a nice tight end room right now. We're going to redshirt him, just a sophomore. I just give him an extra year. He's depth. I'm also going to redshirt David Gooden. Put a redshirt on Sam Walters. Doug Thomas is going to get redshirted as well. Dustin Stallings, you won't see much of him this year, so we're going to redshirt him. Ryan Jones will get redshirted. Ty Barrett will get our final redshirt, I believe. I think we're going to hold on him for a year, see how he can develop. All right, everyone, that's going to do it here on TIIIIIIIIME 33 games. I hope you enjoyed the draft. I hope you enjoyed the off-season. It's going to be super fun, super interesting. As season 2, we actually have a team. So in the beginning of season number 2, we're going to look at our recruiting board. Also going to edit some players, so we'll kind of show them off as well. See who they were before, who they're editing to, any uniform changes, any equipment changes. And then it's on to season number 2, taking on Oklahoma State next episode. So thank you so much for watching this one here. We'll be back soon with some more Vermont State University. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. Hit the bell for notification anytime something like this goes out. Make sure to follow my Twitter in the description, as well as the playlist if you missed any other episodes, as well as the Google Docs that has the full, what am I trying to say here, the full record book for Vermont State, as well as my broadcasting channel as well. So thank you so much. I'm Cody Shelf with TIIIIIIIIME 33 Games. We'll see you next time.